Hey, wonderful people, a pleasant afternoon to everybody. All right, lovely people. I'm sighing because I can hardly believe that I'm now vlogging on same, and I feel so bad because for some reason I don't know, my brain was not receptive. Well, for some reason it was a receptive or receiving the information when I was watching the news for a few days, noticing, the police officers and other relevant bodies and authorities saying they're offering $2 million for the capture of a man. And I saw it, and for some reason I was just thinking is maybe a thief or, so on. I don't know why I did not put it together to know it was somebody who sexually molested the 9-year-old girl. Is it Kelsey Ferrigon? Somewhere in St. Catherine. 9-year-old. Still a baby, still a child. And her body was found in a barrel covered in clothing. And this is after her mother would have left the home. Maybe to go to work or whatever. I couldn't even read I couldn't finish reading the article, beautiful people. I could not. And I'm gripping onto my hands because it is even very hard to speak on such a heinous, malevolent, sinister, evil, wicked, cruel, decadent act. I don't. May God help me, because it's really hard to read on things like these, situations like these, to see our children, the vulnerable group, who probably had the list of vulnerable groups, going through such malady, going through such decadence, and their lives being snuffed out in the end. People, I did not make the correlation. I did not know. And it hurts me that at this point in time, we can't use certain words on TikTok, because we need to call a spade, and we need to call it in its ugly form. We need to call a spade, and we need to call it in its ugly form. Because what was done to her was like a hideous thing. When you talk about a hideous monster, how ugly and horrible looking it is, that's how horrible the crime against her was. Notwithstanding, I read where the alleged person who did the crime against this beautiful young miss was annihilated. His life was snuffed out. It was taken. And for me, beautiful people, sometimes I don't like when their lives are taken away so quickly. Because when they don't go through the rigors of when God says, vengeance is mine, I will repay. Normally God takes you down in his way, in a way that is, you have to, as the onlooker and listener, learn. It is very difficult not to learn. Because he would have rathered human beings or even demons or the devil punish him. Let us say that, although it is right in the thriving pot of the devil. He would be doing the devil's bidding. It was something that they will make the devil cheer on. But we're saying hypothetically, if the devil were to attack him on same, that the sort of beating that the devil would have given cannot be compared to the beating that God would have given to him, because the Bible says it is a fearful, two strong emotions we have in life, fear and love. Some version says it is a dreadful. When you hear those words, you shudder. You become nervous because you wonder, mighty God. Oh my God. When God punishes and beats, let me tell you, man, there is no escape. There is no place to hide to. You can't run or hide anywhere, and everyone will know that you're being beaten by God. Everyone, whether they know you yes or no. So people, and it would cause those who are thinking to do it to may reconsider. I'm not saying that you won't have acts like these again, but once there are acts like these again, the same and worse cycle of repercussion will become the order of the day in their lives. Because God says, vengeance is mine, I will repay, he says. So sometimes when I hear that they quickly get rid of the individual, I said, drats. I wanted God to just hold that individual and deal with him his way, his style. I've often said that understanding doesn't mean that I have had to go through such a heinous act. God has been good to me, and I pray it continues until the last day I breathe on this earth, where I'm never assaulted sexually or molested in that way. Never. It has never happened, and I pray it continues to never happen. But it doesn't mean that I don't understand. There is blood and life running through my veins, through my body, through my cells, through the muscles, through the tissue, so I can just imagine the agony and the pain that that wicked and evil man had put her through. And then to dump her body like a piece of lint or bottle cap in a barrel covered under clothes, because he was a coward. He was a coward because he knew what he did was heinous. It was evil, it was wicked, it was malevolent. Sometimes we have a way of saying that the people are mad. Not necessarily. You have wicked people. Let me tell you something in life, beautiful people. You have some people who may not have had done things like these, or commit acts such as what happened to the Ferrigon young miss. But what they have done to others with their words and other deeds, they are like somebody who molests and assaults in the sexual manner. They are like them. I'm telling you, they're like those who are pedo, and they call them files. They're like them. Yeah, I'm telling you, with what they have done to people. I can tell you from first-hand experiences. And oftentimes it comes from strangers, meaning people that you don't know. They're not your friends. You never did anything to them. They're as evil as they get. And you know that once they have a long run in the evil that they have done, that curse falls to the third and fourth generation. It goes to the next, and then the next, and then the next. When I think of Saul's family lineage, Old Testaments are old. Remember Mephibosheth? It's not Mephibosheth. I hear people saying Mephibosheth. It is Mephibosheth. Who remembers the story of, he was Saul's grandson, and then he became a cripple. Maybe like a paraplegic or something of the sort. You understand what I'm saying? Even though David took him in and gave, because David was a man of, he really was a godly man, in spite of his actions and wrongs. His heart was pure. It's just that him flesh got the better of him, and he did wrong. But his heart was genuinely pure for people, and he had enemies in a lot, you know. People were so jealous of him and envious. Poor girl. And, you know, the Bible says it's better you put a millstone, a noose around your neck, or a milestone around your neck, than harm any child. That is how much God values children. That is how important children are to God. And humans, we have unfortunately allowed these things to happen because we have not safeguarded in a wholesome way. Generally speaking, our children, we have not protected them. Because that young miss is probably one in many. Some probably don't make the news. But God and them. You know they say God and time? God and them. Because he shall pay them a visit. And then the rest of their families. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lions. Thank you.